No one beats Terence Crawford, and everybody's trying to age him out, bro.
It's not one of those fights where Crawford can easily lose. I mean, Crawford's very skillful, man. He's the top dog right now. I mean, he's very skillful.
The possible mega fight between pound-for-pound stars Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford is a match that will generate a lot of interest from fans if the fight plays out in December as His Excellency Turki Alalshik hopes. Alalshik said, "I'm working to deliver Canelo, but it will be a big fight for Crawford. I'll discuss with him the names." Crawford scored a 9th-round TKO victory over Errol Spence Jr. in July to become the undisputed welterweight champion. He's set to move up to 154 pounds for a title fight against Israel Madrimov on August 3rd, bringing him closer in weight to Alvarez for a potential showdown. Crawford said of a possible showdown with Canelo, "You got two of the top fighters of this decade, not just in the past year or so. You got two fighters that have been at the top for 10 years. You got the one pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and you got the one money man. I never like to overlook anybody. I got a fight coming up on August 3rd, and that's where my main focus is." With a unanimous decision victory over Jamie Munguia this past Saturday night, Canelo successfully defended his undisputed super middleweight titles, reaffirming his status as the best 168-pound fighter in the world. Crawford made his decision immediately following the bout when he was present. He said, "I thought it was a good fight. I thought Munguia fought hard. I just think his inexperience caught up to him and made him fall in and square up, and not stepping in with his punches allowed Canelo to sit back, counter, and pick his shots. Canelo was a real patient." Alalshik plans to organize a 5 versus 5 event in December, blending the UK and USA's essence, similar to the June 1st Queensberry Matchroom clash. The event will feature British and American pugilists as part of the Saudi boxing chief's strategy to improve boxing. He said, "Boxing is broken, but I think we don't need to get everything back together. Indeed, boxing sat atop the global sports landscape for much of the 20th century. But with the best matchups being relegated to pay-per-view, the sport's lack of centralized governing body, and the minimization of pugilism at the Olympics, the sport has waned in popularity since. Securing one half of the equation might be fairly straightforward. Alalshik is helping to present the card headlined by Crawford and Israel Madrimov on August 3rd in Los Angeles. The welterweight champion, Crawford said to Coppinger, "There's a lot of respect that comes with Turki and myself. He's seen the road that I had to take to get to where I am now. And he just wanted to display respect for the sport of boxing, and not just somebody that's coming to hold these types of fighters down and not let the world see him. It's an honor that he chose me. He could have chosen anybody else, so I'm definitely grateful." When it comes to Alvarez, there's little doubt a Saudi-backed venture would at least theoretically have the finances to meet his likely asking price. When dismissing the idea of a bout with David Benavidez, he said in March he might reconsider for $150 million or more. Alvarez said, "If the money's right, I can fight Benavidez right now. I don't give a It's only a matter of money at this point. Everybody is asking for everything. When I fought Erislandy Lara, Austin Trout, Miguel Angel Cotto, Floyd Mayweather, Billy Joe Saunders, GGG, everybody said I don't want to fight them, and I fought all of them. So right now, I can do whatever I want." Canelo's fans may be excited for a potential bout with David Benavidez, but the focus may shift to Crawford, who became the first male two-division unchallenged champion. During his speech at the Breakfast Club, he proposed a catchweight bout. "We can do something at a catchweight, probably 160 or something. 158, yeah, 158, 160. That would be cool." Canelo appears to have reservations about facing Terence Crawford, as he expressed reluctance in an interview with Box Azteca about the possibility of a showdown with Bud, refusing to further explore the idea. According to him, it will become a fight where "I have everything to lose and nothing to gain, because if I win, they'll say, oh, he was too small, and everything." With the direct involvement of His Excellency Turki Alalshik, the prospects of the historic Alvarez-Crawford showdown materializing are now more promising than ever. However, trainer Andre Rozier is against Crawford challenging Canelo for the super middleweight crowns of the IBF, WBA, WBC, and WHO by climbing up to 168 pounds. Rozier said, "I don't like it. Canelo hasn't been rattled by anybody, and he's been in with some big punchers. I don't like that fight for Crawford." Rozier expressed that he liked Terence at 154, and perhaps touching the ground at 160, but at 168, he didn't like it. He mentioned that Terence would box well because he was a great athlete and boxer, but he didn't want to see him going into such a situation. Rozier expressed, "I like Terence at 154, and maybe touching the ground at 160, but at 168, I don't like it. He's going to box well because he's a fantastic athlete and a fantastic boxer, but I don't want to see him going into deep waters like that." Crawford seems acutely aware of the gamble, yet his drive to secure maximum earnings before his imminent retirement overrides caution. Facing off against Canelo promises Crawford his most lucrative payday to date, with the potential for a lucrative rematch if he emerges victorious. Nevertheless, should Canelo decisively outclass Crawford, it might mark the end of his career. Rosier said, "If it's about money, it's a different story, but his legacy is being lamented in a fantastic way, and I'd hate to see it tarnished by trying to do too much." Rosier added that he believed Terence was already at that level, mentioning that he was headed to the Hall of Fame and had impressive accolades with mountain-high stats. However, he expressed his concern about Terence getting into a situation where he could be defeated. He added, "I think Terence is already there. He's going to the Hall of Fame. His accolades have mountain-high stats to them. I don't want to see him get into a situation where he could get beat. He has to build up to it. I just can't see it." Crawford is focusing on the greenbacks, aiming for the substantial purse he secured from his bout with Errol Spence, with Canelo as the sole source. Despite athleticism, Crawford would prefer to remain at 147 and face Jaron "Boots" Ennis. Talking about fighters not moving up 2 to 3 weight classes in a single move in the past, Rosier said, "These things didn't happen before. Once in a blue moon, but now it's modus operandi. Now it's like, I'm fighting at 140. I'm going to be fighting at cruiserweight in a year. It's ridiculous. There's a common phrase, and it holds true. There's a reason why there are weight classes." Jeff acknowledged Crawford's threat, but did not underestimate Canelo's strength. He emphasized the importance of weight and weight in a match, stating that Crawford's skills alone could not guarantee success against a long-standing competitor. He said, "But still, that weight is something to deal with. And you can't just say that because of Crawford's skills. He can automatically go up to 168 and beat the guy who's been doing this for a long time. And Canelo has been one of the best fighters in the world for a long time. So that's a big jump." However, Shakur Stevenson has expressed that Canelo would be no match for Terence Crawford. Canelo's recent performance against Munguia impressed Stevenson, but he maintained that Bud was still superior to the super middleweight champion. He tweeted, "Halavu fighter Canelo is. Still, I think Bud beats him. Crawford is now the best fighter in the pound-for-pound division, but his victories came at super lightweight and welterweight, 3 and 4 weight classes below Canelo. And there are whispers that Crawford might face Canelo next." Canelo, though, swiftly withdrew from the battle. When Box Azteca asked Canelo if he would take on Crawford, Canelo replied, "No." The interviewer reminded Canelo of the lucrative potential of accepting the fight. Yet the boxing luminary deemed Crawford unworthy of the endeavor. He said, "Yes, but they're going to criticize me, and that's it. They love it. They criticized me because I fought Jermel Charlo, who gained weight, who is bigger than me, because I'm a small fighter for these weights, and because he gained weight. But they didn't criticize him when I went up in weight." Although Crawford hasn't said anything about a potential Canelo matchup, he did respond to his most recent appearance. He wrote on X, "Looks like Canelo carried him the whole fight." Crawford is preparing for a showdown with a preliminary bout, according to boxing icon Tim Bradley. Bradley praised Crawford's rigorous training routine, stating that he did 15 4-minute rounds, 12 with Shakur and 3 with Shakur's cousin, with only 30 seconds of rest. This dedication is evident in Crawford's preparation for the main event, Crawford versus Canelo.
And everybody trying to age him out, bro. The dude 2 weeks ago did 15 4-minute rounds, 12 with Shakur, 3 with Shakur's cousin. 4-minute rounds, 30 seconds rest. Think about that.
Bradley doesn't just see Crawford winning against Madrimov. He predicts a dominant performance. Bradley predicts that Bud is going to crush Madrimov in their upcoming bout. Strong words. But Bradley doesn't stop there. He claims credit for recognizing Crawford's talent early on, saying that he was the one who put him on note. He added that he was the first one to recognize him.
Okay, third. So he'll do good at 54.
He gonna crush this dude at 54. Mamardov, what's his name? Madrimov?
Israel Madrimov. He trains with Joel.
He gonna crush it. He gonna crush it.
James, Tony, and Bradley both believe in Crawford's potential and his ability to defeat anyone. Tony stated that Bud would beat Canelo by KO, while Bradley echoed this sentiment, stating that Crawford beats anyone he faces in the ring. Both believe Crawford is not afraid to go the distance, but no one beats Bud.
Since 06? So you know him a lot longer than I am. So he got it. He got it. But you look good, champ. You look good, champ. You look good, man. For real. Fist, feather fisted Haney. Did you see him buckle him? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Huh? What does that say you about that chin of Ryan? Oh, it's suspect. Hey, Crawford beats anybody he steps in the ring with. Anybody. He don't go, no one beats him. No one beats Terence Crawford. And everybody's trying to age him out, bro.
Crawford's potential move to 168 pounds to face Canelo would be a significant change for him, according to Oscar De La Hoya, who previously promoted Canelo. De La Hoya acknowledged Crawford's specialness, but expressed uncertainty about his power to keep Canelo at bay. He suggested that after the 6th or 7th round, Crawford might feel the effects of Canelo's relentless pressure, leading to weakened legs and spinning head, questioning his presence in the ring.
Man, it's ambitious, man, but that's Crawford. Look, Crawford is a master. He is a master performer. Like he's a special fighter. He's a special fighter. I just don't know if he has the power to keep Canelo off, and that pressure that Canelo keeps putting on you after the 6th, 7th, 8th round, man, let me tell you, your legs will start going, your head will start spinning, like what the hell am I doing here? It'll be a tough.
Alvarez has resisted the cries to fight Benavidez, repeatedly saying that he can do whatever he wants after all he's accomplished. There's no doubting his legacy and credentials. The 33-year-old is an all-time great. But when you're the biggest star in an entire sport, it's accompanied by the demand to deliver what the public wants. David Benavidez, who is moving up in weight class 168 to 175 to fight Alexander Gvozdy. But he will come to fight Canelo at 168 because he is waiting for 3 years for this opportunity. He said,
were to potentially happen, would you go back down to 168?
Definitely. That's what I've earned my right to fight to campaign for those titles. The WBC. I just think it's not fair that they only give me 10 days to make the decision if I'm gonna stay at 175 or 168. I mean, I've been there for 3 years. I haven't got the opportunity for 3 years, but we'll make the decision after the fight. But definitely, if we can make that fight happen, that's a fight we all want.
Alvarez is ESPN's no. 4 pound-for-pound boxer and hasn't lost a fight since he moved up to 175 pounds to challenge Dimitri Bivol in May 2022. Since then, he's turned back some worthy fighters, most notably a trilogy battle with Gennady GGG Golovkin. But none of those fighters, not even an aging GGG, possess the danger Benavidez presents at this stage. Benavidez added, "He's not going to fight me. I think he's just running out of things to say. He's literally said every excuse. He said that I only bring 25 pounds in and I'm not nothing. I'm this and that. I'm not dedicated. I'm not respectful. I think he's scared of him losing. And then me taking all his fans. That's what it is. I don't really think he's scared of me. I think he doesn't want me to get the torch passed." But Benavidez is not the only fighter Alvarez can meet to quiet the critics. There's also Terence Crawford, ESPN's no 1 pound-for-pound boxer. Crawford was ringside and came away impressed with Alvarez's performance. Canelo is set to face David Benavidez in a highly anticipated boxing match, but has kept his response brief, hinting at a recuperation period before making any decisions. Sean Porter suggests that Terence Crawford, a contender even more prominent than Benavidez, stands out in the clamor for his next opponent. Porter discussed Alvarez's next fight following his victory over Munguia, saying this, "The 2 fighters right now who deserve a fight with Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford, 1, and then David Benavidez, 2. Terence has just done it all. He's really earned it." Floyd Mayweather proposes a showdown between Crawford and Benavidez, a ring titan that would likely attract as much attention as any Canelo Alvarez bout. Speaking to Ben Thompson from Fight Hype, Mayweather proposed, if Crawford wants to go to 168 and he wants to fight Canelo, and Benavidez wants to fight Canelo, they can't get Canelo. They can fight each other, Benavidez and Crawford. Mayweather turned to Ennis as a formidable contender after Crawford couldn't secure a bout against Canelo or Errol Spence Jr. Thompson hinted in the interview that Crawford might not make as much money going up against Jaron Ennis. Mayweather retorted that he had no idea what these fighters desired. However, he stated, "I'm saying you gotta ask yourself, is it about the legacy? Is it about the money? Is it about both? If you do want to fight, fight. If you don't fight him, fight somebody else." Boxing legend Mike Tyson disagreed with Mayweather's advice for Crawford and Benavidez to choose other opponents. Canelo rejected a $60 million proposal to face David Benavidez, causing Tyson to express disapproval during an interview with Marca. Tyson said, "What's wrong with Canelo? Is he afraid of losing?" Tyson further added, "If I were him, I would accept the fight with Benavidez and show the world that he is the best. But it seems he doesn't have the courage to do it. It is a shame because he has a lot of talent, but he lacks heart." Meanwhile, Juan Manuel Marquez, a 4-weight class champion, issues a cautionary message to Crawford before he ventures into Canelo's territory. Marquez believes that challenging Canelo would present numerous advantages for the Mexican fighter, advising Crawford against even contemplating such a matchup. Marquez acknowledged, "Crawford's a great fighter, but we need to realize weight classes exist for a reason. his stance is clear. A significant weight disparity gives Canelo a hefty advantage. He mentioned, Crawford needs to fight at the welterweight division, or at super welterweight maximum because Canelo would have too many advantages. Fernando Vargas Jr. believes Canelo's experience helped him win against Jaime Munguia. When asked about a potential fight between Canelo and David Benavidez, Vargas Jr. thinks Benavidez could win if the fight drags out.
Canelo's not really throwing punches and bunches like I used to, combinations. He's a hell of a fighter. I think his experience is great, but I think the further that this fight drags out, I think it favors Benavidez.
While Munguia put up a good fight in the opening rounds, Canelo's experience and skills started to show in the later rounds, and Cinnamon sailed his way to a unanimous decision victory. In the meantime, undefeated Edgar, the chosen one Berlanga from Puerto Rico, strongly opined that he could do what Munguia couldn't. Taking to Instagram, the Puerto Rican national Edgar Berlanga shared a clip of himself dressed in traditional Mexican attire while singing a traditional Mexican tune.
Con dinero, sin dinero, yo hago siempre lo que quiero. Mi palabra es la ley. No tengo trono ni reina, ni nadie me comprenda, pero sigo siendo el rey. ¡Puñeta!
Indirectly calling out Canelo. He captioned the post, "The Puerto Rican born with the Mexicans." Michael Benson also wrote a post on X. Edgar Berlanga continues to push for the Canelo Alvarez fight on Instagram today. Canelo Alvarez has dealt with the likes of Floyd Mayweather, Gennady Golovkin, and Miguel Cotto, to name a few. So when Berlanga just started demanding a fight out of the blue, fans were not in the mood to tolerate it. One user believed, "Bro wants to lose so bad for a payday," declaring a bold intention behind the pokes from the boxer's side. Even though Canelo is 33, the sheer difference in their skills is astronomical. If the Munguia fight was easy for Canelo, he wouldn't have to do much against Berlanga to win. Another user took to X to declare, "No one wants to see that fight, Biro." Meanwhile, one fan claimed if Munguia couldn't beat Canelo, Berlanga would just embarrass himself. He wrote on X, "What's the point? We all know what happens. If Munguia didn't have a shot, Berlanga will just embarrass himself." The next user bluntly labeled Berlanga the most undeserving boxer to get an opportunity to fight with Canelo Alvarez, thus suggesting the unbeaten boxer has done nothing to earn that fight. In Berlanga's 22 professional fights, he has never even competed for a title yet. He wrote on X, "Probably the most undeserving boxer to get that Canelo fight. He's beaten absolutely nobody." Meanwhile, this user was so put off by the idea, he offered to pay for that fight to not happen. While the user is clearly being sarcastic, the disdain for Berlanga is clear with the fan. Fan wrote, "I would pay to not see this fight happen." According to analyst Chris Mannix of DAZN, the Eddie Hearn-promoted Edgar Berlanga, the WBA mandatory for Canelo's title with that sanctioning body, could be the one picked. Undefeated, but unproven. Although the 26-year-old Berlanga is unproven and has never faced a high-level contender in his career, he has an unbeaten record, a high ranking, and a large following in Brooklyn, New York, and Puerto Rico. Analyst Chris Mannix said on his YouTube channel,
"As for what's next, the question of David Benavidez is always going to come up. It's not going to be David Benavidez, at least not in 2024. I think the most likely opponents for Canelo in September of this year are Edgar Berlanga, who is in Las Vegas, basically telling everyone with a microphone that he was getting that fight next, and Jermall Charlo, who is a PBC-connected fighter who has told people in interviews that he believes he's getting that fight next. Now, boxing fans are not going to get super excited about either one of them. Berlanga's undefeated, but like Munguia, untested. His last win was probably his best against Padraig McGrory, but McGrory is nowhere near Canelo's level. Similarly, Jermall Charlo, inactivities plagued him the last 3 years. He fought Jose Benavidez Jr. In his last fight, and against a blown-up welterweight, didn't look all that good. Won a decision, but didn't look all that good.
Whomever Alvarez picks, he's proved that it will be on his terms. He's earned that autonomy at this stage of his career. So whether he's a major favorite for his next matchup against a fighter like Edgar Berlanga, or faced with the challenge of either Benavidez or Crawford, one thing is for sure, Canelo will do whatever Canelo wants. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.